You're watching the Bloomberg Law Bankruptcy Review. I'm Pacchia. I'm joined now, as always, by Bloomberg News bankruptcy columnist Bill Rochelle. Be sure to check out his daily bankruptcy column, available on BloombergLaw.com, and it's also available on the Bloomberg Terminal. Thanks for stopping by, Bill. So, lots of developments in MF Global. I wanted to start off with an interesting argument that was made in court by, I believe, one of the customers of MF Global. It almost takes a page from family court proceedings. Why don't you tell us about it? And I guess we know how it played out already, so we can offer some conclusions.
Really rather creative. A customer who was out some considerable money latched onto an argument from the Supreme Court that corporations are entitled to the same rights as individuals. So this very intelligent customer said, well, so therefore, let us apply family law to bankruptcy court so that the MF Global parent company is obliged to support its children and pay them in full. The bankruptcy judge didn't think it quite so funny as I do, and so poured it out rather quickly and warned the lawyer who made the argument that it bordered on frivolous. So much for that argument to bail out.
Well, we give them creativity points at least.
Yeah, we can't take it to the bank, though.
And also, Bill, we've been covering this story for a while now. Lots of people are upset. We get emails every day from listeners who are concerned about the way this case is unfolding. And we're starting to get an idea as to how it's going to play out. And the results aren't necessarily going to make everyone happy. That said, what do you think the legacy of this case is going to be?
Well, I think there's going to be an explosion when the facts come out. Let me tell you what I'm starting to hear and figure out on my own right now. Don't think there was any criminal activity. The prosecutors seem to be running away from the idea of being able to indict anybody. It looks to me like what we may have at the end of the day is simply a hole in the regulatory system. This is what I'm hearing, that in the last week of MF Global's existence, everybody was headed for the hills. The customers wanted out. There were demands on the company itself to cover their own positions with more margin. And so the company was forced to start selling a lot of assets of their own and also of customers. Now, customers, for instance, were putting in orders to liquidate their positions and transfer out the cash, for example. This would mean that if a customer was holding, let's say, treasury securities, they went into a pot with other customers' treasury securities and maybe even the company's own to go over to clearing brokers or banks to be sold and converted into cash. And it looks like what happened in some instances, at least, was the money that was received from the sale of customer property simply didn't come back because it got short-stopped by the clearing brokers or banks or whomever covering the positions that MF Global owed to them. It may very well be that there were no violations of any regulations involved here, in which event it is simply tough noogies on the customers. Further, and as we had discussed in one of these previous podcasts, it's looking to me like what's called the safe harbor in bankruptcy law is by itself going to prohibit the trustees for MF Global from recovering money that went to banks or brokers. This may not seem like it's the right thing to do, but methinks it is probably what the result is going to end up being. So that's why I said just a minute ago that when the trustees issue their reports and the facts come out, and the bottom line is customers ain't going to get back $1 billion, that's when I think there's going to be an explosion. Because this just isn't supposed to happen. We're supposed to be tightly enough regulated so customers' money is not going to disappear. This will be the point in time at which I think Congress is going to become enraged. And then you're going to have banks and brokers on both sides of the issue, because if MF Global was, shall we say, nothing untoward or illegal, then it means we have a hole in the regulatory system. And customers who've got a brain on their shoulders maybe are going to start rethinking the idea of using brokers as their custodians, and instead are going to want to use banks as their custodians. So at bottom line, this may not be good for brokers unless this situation can get fixed so that it won't happen again.
What are the chances, do you think, of it getting fixed quickly?
Quickly, well, it probably won't do any good for what's already happened in MF Global. But, the way things move in Congress, it may take a year or two to get something done. But at the end of the day, I expect something good will come out of it.
All right, Bill, thanks for that. That's Bloomberg News bankruptcy columnist Bill Rochelle. For more information about this and other topics, log on now to BloombergLaw.com. You can see our recent videos at YouTube and follow our daily updates on Twitter. I'm Pacchia. Thanks for joining us.